Damian Lillard has signed a 2-year extension with the Blazers worth $122 million. That'll keep him under contract through the 2026-27 season with a player option in that final season. And James Harden has also agreed to a 2-year deal after opting out of his player option next season. He's taking a $15 million pay cut. It's allowing the Sixers to solidify their roster. They've already added P.J. Tucker and Daniel House for the season ahead. Welcome into our NBA TV studios. It's game time. I'm Kristen Ledlow alongside our Tony Delk. We're with you for the next half hour, breaking down all of that breaking news and for summer hoops highlights. Let's though start there with Lillard agreeing to a contract extension, staying in Portland. It's been a busy offseason there already. What though does this do to the team that drafted him and say about his commitment to staying there?
Well, they're showing Dame a lot of love. You talk about a player that came out in 2012, was the sixth pick of that draft, but he came in with a chip on his shoulder. When you think about Damian Lillard, he's a 4-year college player, came from a mid-major, and when he came into the league, he was an unknown. But a 6-time All-Star, he lets you know how great a player he is, but also he's not only one of those players that performs on the court, he performs off the court, he has great music, but Dame really is locked in. You know, you looked at the team, you thought they were rebuilding, but adding Jeremy Grant made them a contender, and not a contender at the top of the conference, but a contender at the bottom or possibly to play in. But Dame has done an extremely good job of just, like I said, being a staple of the Portland Trail Blazers.
We did only get to see him in 29 games last season because of that ab injury. What do you expect of his return?
Well, just getting his body back, getting him back into great shape, playing with a bunch of new guys, adding Shaedon Sharpe, who was their early draft pick this year, and then Anthony Simons. He's one of those guys that, as he's played with C.J. McCollum and also Dame, you've seen this game flourish. He understands how to play. He's learned the game. And then, like I said, adding his USA basketball teammate, Jeremy Grant, is going to be an outside wing that can score but also defend. And then Nurkic, who is also one of those bigs that has been solid for them. He knows how to play the game, and he's going to help them out.
I'm glad you mentioned some of those moves because apart from the draft, as you mentioned, they've traded for Jeremy Grant. They've extended Anthony Simons. Where are the Blazers now when it comes to contending in the West?
Well, like I said, you see how good they are at the guard position, but just understanding that they have to have guys that are locked in defensive, guys that understand how to play. And I think with Dame just being the point guard, the leader on this team, he's going to take them to a different level.
Look at this. Do these highlights of his ever get old?
No, you just think about just how he plays and how relentless he is. But you look at Anthony Simons, he is a 23-year-old player that understands how to play, and he's going to make them that much better because what he does, he's learned the game from C.J. McCollum. Don't take anything away from C.J. by the trade, but Simons was one of those guys you look at and say he's a young staple and a player that they can depend on, and he's younger, you know, at the end of the day. And I think with Dame trusting him, those two guys are going to work well in the backcourt.
And again, according to The Athletic, James Harden has made this increased effort to focus on his offseason workout regimen, to make financial sacrifices in order to win alongside Joel Embiid in Philly. Put into perspective for me what his agreeing to take less could mean for this franchise.
Well, you look at just being able to get a former teammate, P.J. Tucker, a guy that can come in, you know what he does well, he plays defense.
And a close friend.
But but also his leadership. But James, you know, he wants to win. He don't want to just go down one of those players that has won the MVP. He want to be one of the greats that say, hey, I've been in a position where I can help a team get to the finals, but also a team possibly win it. Because if you go back to the OKC days, he was younger. He made it to the finals, but now with Joel Embiid, you look at those two guys right now, and they are the staple of that team. But two MVP caliber players, but just understanding what's going to make them better is they have to have a good surrounding, a good core guys that understand what they do well.
If then, on the other side of this offseason, Harden's workouts prove to propel his game as well, is that all it takes to consider these guys contenders?
Yeah, it helps, but you really got to know what you do well. And what you do well is definitely playing defense and playing not out of character, but doing what you do well. And that's, like I say, him being a scorer, being a facilitator, and doing what he does to help that team get better at, you know, most of the scoring. And going into the playoff, you know, he wasn't the player that we've seen in the past. He has a lot of miles, but also he does something that makes his teammates better. He facilitates. He gets guys involved. So if he keeps doing that, and come back. We know what Joel Embiid provides, but then just the offseason acquisitions, those are the players that are going to help him out.
Can we fast forward to October already? After the break, Summer League highlights. We've got a 7-game Friday in Las Vegas. A Thursday night, the #1 overall pick, Paolo Banchero, made his professional debut for the Orlando Magic. On the other side, the 3rd pick in Jabari Smith and his Houston Rockets. Here's more on that matchup.
Welcome to Las Vegas, an opening night of the NBA 2K23 Summer League.
The #1 and #3 picks going head-to-head. That's Jabari Smith against Paolo Banchero out of Duke. Smith, and he will be inextricably tied forever because of the way that the draft evolved, the way it all went down.
Everyone is saying you are the #1 overall pick.
A lot of pressure comes with being #1, but that's something I'm ready for, and I'm just excited to see how it unfolds.
With the first pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Paolo Banchero from Duke University.
Surprising a few, because Jabari Smith was the guy that many people were targeting here. You saw Paolo's reaction. He was even surprised.
This is the moment that we've all been focused on and waiting for in the wake of the NBA draft. Banchero against Smith.
What a matchup we have tonight. The obvious storyline is you going up against #3 overall pick, Jabari Smith.
He's a player, I'm going to have to bring it. He's going to bring it every possession, so I'm going to have to be ready. But we're going to go at it. It's going to be fun.
Banchero inside.
Look at his frame. I mean, my goodness.
Big time. Baseline jumper with a fortuitous roll.
It's just such a good field, right? Face up right away, size up the defense, recognize you can get your fadeaway over him.
What are your first impressions of your new teammate?
Oh, he's so talented. I think, offensively, he does it all. Get into the basket, passing, just his versatility on that end is amazing.
Smith got it.
He is a special shooter.
How excited are you about his prospects moving forward?
I'm super excited. He has a poise about him that is well beyond his years. He's trying to find his way offensively, which is natural for, the first time you're ever on the floor.
The 2 first-round picks are matched up against each other. Banchero drifting to get open, and it's Butter.
Nice move.
Nice move. You like that, Coach. Jabari Smith with a nice left-handed finish right there.
I love it. It's been fun to watch Banchero and Smith go at one another. 2 competitive, talented guys.
Was there ever a sense during those battles on the court where you felt like you wanted to prove that you deserve to be the #1 overall pick?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've always had a chip on my shoulder. We try to win every game, so that was the start of the whole Summer League season for us.
Battle between the #1 and the #3 picks. Banchero with 17 points, 6 dimes. Jabari Smith with 10.7 rebounds. Just the beginning for these new stars in the NBA.
More Summer League highlights. Friday in Vegas, Mark Williams, the 15th pick.